Abdullah Mason has been on a rip through 2024 to prove his wares in the lightweight division. And Saturday, November 8th, was no different when he took on Johan Vasquez in a fight that could have round of the year and the performance of the career of the young Mason. Let's talk about what happened. Top Rank Boxing's Friday night, November 8th card featuring Keyshawn Davis as a headline against Gustavo Lemos was a card that many people wanted to come out and see the lightweight Keyshawn Davis do his thing, but they were treated to so much more on the undercard of that fight, even though Keyshawn managed to close the show in spectacular fashion. One of the young fighters, young lightweight hopeful Abdullah Mason, took on, I'm trying to say his name, Johan Vasquez. Johan came in with aspirations to look like a fighter of old, a fighter who could come in and provide a different type of a challenge. And for a moment there, he caught lightning in a bottle. The funny thing about him trying to look like someone of old, the Dominican came in with this shag haircut that reminded us of Jorge Luis Gonzalez, who fought Riddick Bowe, and the former Cuban star that was an amateur star, but not so much in the heavyweight pros because Riddick Bowe avenged his loss against him. But this is who he came in looking like, a shrunken down Gonzalez. But Abdullah Mason, who is noted to get started early in his fights, though he had moved up to 8 rounders, he has yet to go the distance in those fights, and this night would be no different. However, the tables were turned early in the fight where he was dropped in the first round, and no one had saw that coming. But what we did know about Johan, as he came into this fight, he came in with his record of 26-6, but 21 KOs. Now he's 30 years of age, 5'7", and a little bit smaller, but much more stout than Abdullah Mason. And I'll tell you this about Mason, who seems to be very strong. I do believe when he wins a world title, it'll probably be at junior welterweight, because this young man, though he's 20 years of age, he's huge for the division. He's 5'9", with a 74-inch reach, and he's a growing young man. But as he started out, this being his 5th fight in 2024, he had also 5 fights in 2023. He's 16-0 now with 14 KOs. And Johan managed to land a good solid left hook on him, and down he went in that first round. No one had saw that coming, but also no one saw what he was able to do next, and that was rise from the count and get right back into the fray of the battle, where Abdullah dished out his own evil intentions and bad intentions behind punches, where he saw himself prevailing and being on top of Vasquez quite quickly. The way he responded to his knockdown was the kind of stuff that you want to see from these young fighters as they go on. I think that the initial was like a flash knockdown, and he wasn't expecting it and was caught clean, but he went right back into the battle. He was mindful of his work, and he looked to punish Vasquez for that. But again, after dropping Vasquez, Abdullah saw him rise to get up to fight back. And then we had a fight. It had become already a candidate for round of the year, as both men had touched the canvas, looking vulnerable at times, both. But when Abdullah dropped Vasquez, Johan seemed to be wondering if he should continue or not, and he got on up and decided to go back into the battle. And guess what? He did, and Mason found himself in jeopardy for a second time. That's right, Johan was able to put Abdullah down with a counter hook again to the jaw, and it left a surprise Abdullah Mason down for the second time in the first round. I mean, this was really some exciting stuff. You could hear the fans in Norfolk just cheering. That arena full of, I think they said it was more than 10,000 people in there on this night, and they were getting their money's worth. I mean, Scope Arena was rocking, but Abdullah got right back up and he went right back into the battle. And shortly after that, the bell ended to cease the first round. And all of a sudden we were like, oh, now we could see what Abdullah is made of. Because he was not in there against a chump. He was in there against a man who was ready to fight back. Although it may have been some weaknesses as far as he leaving himself open and being so much accustomed to having other guys that he puts in peril, he found himself in a situation where he had to get back on his mindfulness, hands up, making sure you're watching what your opponent is doing. But these are the type of learning lessons that are valuable, because if you're just steamrolling everyone, then you get a false sense of confidence. But I do believe this will be something that he can take back to the gym and be mindful of, and his coaches can keep his feet on more solid ground as a result of having bulletin board material to say, you see this? You're not the greatest just yet. Listen to what we're telling you, and we can go beyond this and be much better and far more dangerous in the future. And I do believe that that's the type of way that that camp is going to handle these circumstances, because in round 2, what we saw from Abdullah as he challenged to come back to finish this fight, he went after Vasquez with a vengeance, and he put him out for the count in the second round. So inside of 2 rounds, 2 of the most exciting of his career to this date, Abdullah Mason was able to show us that he is of the right stuff, and he is ready to now move up to 10 rounders. Even though he's yet to go a full 8, this young man has given us some sense of hope for the lightweight division and its future. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about Abdullah Mason, and if you're excited to see 2025 and what it holds for him. Peace and good night.